Hello, Vanessa Webb Stampin'Up Demonstrator Australia here. I have been playing around with this awesome card layout, which I wanted to give you the instructions and measurements for. I've had a couple of people request how to make one. This was my original one, made with the Oh Holy Night suite. And as you can see, when you open the card, there are actually 4 panels inside the card. One of them is for the greeting and the others are for different scenes or different stamping designs that you might want to include in your card. And it creates, this card creates like a W shape inside so that you can still fold it flat to send in the mail. So I came up with another design using the Festive and Fun stamp set, which is currently on our retiring list. So you can still get this, it is still available, and it's the cutest stamp set for Christmas if you're wanting to send a bit more of a non-traditional Christmas card. I've also used an interesting colouring technique which I wanted to share with you. So this is what the inside of my card looks like. So there are all the panels there, and you can see I've actually got enough room to stamp all of the critters in the set. There's around about 4 or 5 of them. And yeah, so there is the giraffe on the front, and then we've got the rhino, the little duck, which is very cute, the moose, and of course the beaver with his candy cane. Love it. So yeah, I wanted to show you the basic layout and measurements for this card so that you can make one of your own using any stamp set. It doesn't have to any paper or stamp set. It does not have to be the same as mine. I also am using the, I think it's called Tartan Festive Foils. Perhaps it's called that. I just want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Yes, Tartan Foil. Tartan Foil is the designer series paper, which is from our online exclusives collection, which is just found online in the online store. And you can order that any way you like, but you will only find it in the online store and not in any catalogue. So let's get right down to the measurements. What I have got here is half an A4 sheet of cardstock, and I've cut that in half exactly. I also have about 1.5, well, it's actually a 2 centimetre wide strip of coordinating cardstock. This is basic grey, and I'm going to fold that directly in half. Just to keep it really simple, I'm not including designer series paper on the inside of my card. And then I'm going to fold these in half again. So you're basically folding the strip, the 2 by almost 30 centimetre strip. So it's exactly the length of this A4 sheet that's cut in half. So that's the length we're working with. And we're folding it in 4s. So I'm just creating that W shape that I showed you in my samples, and there it is. So that is the bit that will go inside to create the mechanism in our card. So let me grab some of my stamp and seal, and I'm going to open out my card base, and I'm only going to be putting my stamp and seal on the back of the very end pieces of the W. So if you imagine the W like that, you're only going to put your adhesive there and there. These bits here are going to be left free of adhesive. So I'll flip it over and I'll just put a couple of rows on this one, and then I'm going to take it up. I'm going to center it at the top there, just so it's got an even space between the 2 edges. And I'm also going to pop some adhesive on this one, and then I'm going to open this out so that it meets the other edge. So you want to just hold that down, make sure that it's nice and secure, and then when it's adhered, you'll see that W shape again. So we're going to go ahead and put our panels on now. And my panels are, the size of them is, we've got some of the Tartan Foil, and this is that beautiful shimmery designer series paper. So that's going to be our base. And this is some Basic White, which we're obviously going to stamp on. So the Basic White, let me just tell you what the measurements are. It's 5.8 by 7.8. So 5.8 by 7.8, and you want 4 of those. And then with your Tartan Foil, you want to cut at 6.3 by 8.3. So we're maximizing the size of the Basic White so that we've got plenty of room to stamp our creatures on, or whatever designs we would like. So I'm setting the Tartan Foil aside, and I'm going to stamp onto all of these before I go ahead and stick them on. I'm using the Early Espresso ink to create my outline. Now these are line art stamps, so I could go ahead and color them in a couple of different ways. I could use a blender pen, and I could use some ink pads. I could use my Stampin' Blends. That's definitely an option. I could also use the Stampin' Write markers. That's the water-based markers, which you'll also be familiar with. But I'm going to use those Stampin' Write markers in a slightly different way. So that's the chosen medium. And I wanted to show you how to colour in a line art stamp just a little bit differently. So for my greeting, that's the second panel. So I'm going to put these around the right way. So there we go. The second panel is going to have the greeting, which says, "May your season be one that's festive and fun." Love that. Here's my little duck. It's very cute. And the last one is my little beaver. I'll stamp this dude down the bottom. He's carrying a candy cane. And on the front, I'm going to, of course, stamp my giraffe. So just before I forget to tell you, the front panel, which looks like this, the measurements for that are for the festive foil, for the Tartan Foil, it is 10 by 14.3. So 10 by 14.3. And then we've got a basic grey panel, which also will go on the front. So the basic grey panel is 8.8 centimeters, all working in centimeters here, and 12.3. So 8.8 by 12.3. And then the white panel, which I will stamp the giraffe on, that's the basic white, is 7.4, beg your pardon, 7.4 centimeters by 11.4. Okay, so I will write all these measurements down underneath. I'll type them underneath the video for you so you've got a visual, but I just thought I'd verbally share that with you. And so that one is long enough for the giraffe, and that's why the giraffe image goes onto the front of the card. So let me just stamp that one down there. Now I'm not going to colour all of these in, but I did want to show you the technique so that you can do this at home. So I've got a selection of Stampin' Write markers, and they are, I guess, lots of festive colours. So I wanted to sort of have a fairly good pop of colour on these images, and I wanted to make sure that that it looked like a Christmas card, because we're kind of working with fairly neutral tones with the basic grey and the Tartan Foil. We do have for the base card the cherry cobbler, which is lovely and festive as well. I'm just going to give that a squirt because my early espresso pad is very juicy, so I'm just going to make sure it's dry. So yeah, because we're working with water-based inks, I did not want to smudge. So I've got my Daffodil Delight Stampin' Write marker, and what I'm going to do is just trace along just the inside of the outline of my giraffe. And the idea is that you're suggesting a colour for the infill, but you are not continuing then to colour the entire image in. And it's a lot quicker doing it this way, but you'll see it works really, really well with these line art stamps, and it definitely, it definitely lends itself to creating a very quick card. So I'm going to sort of coordinate the colours of the giraffe image with the other elements on the card. And you'll see I've got a pecan pie Stampin' Write marker as well. Now these are the water-based ones, remember, they're not the same as the alcohol-based ones. So it actually looks a lot better when you don't colour the entire image in, because you don't have the alcohol base in the ink to kind of keep going over and over the same spot, like you do with our Stampin' Blends. But I think this is a really good compromise. I'm going to colour in his eyes as well. You can use the smaller tips if you want. So yes, if you've got some finer areas to work with. I'm going to coordinate his little hat. Okay, again, I'll use the finer tip. See what that looks like. Maybe I could use the thicker tip with that one. So this is my cherry cobbler. There we go. I'm going to leave the rest of his hat white. And I'm just going to go ahead and colour in, because these are smaller areas. I'm going to go ahead and colour in some of these with our cherry cobbler as well. So you're just going close to the line of each of the images, and where it's a really thin image, you might just want to do one line rather than trying to do what I did with the hat there. There is not enough space in the bow to do that. So use your discretion and definitely grab the fine tip of the Stampin' Blends to complete your image if you need to. So I'm using that fine tip for these baubles because they're quite a small area to be colouring in, even with the outline. And for the tree, of course, I'm going to use Garden Green. That's a lovely Christmas green. I'm just going very close to the edge here because I definitely want to give that impression that this tree is lovely and lush and green, but I don't have to colour the entire image in, which is super awesome. Okay, so you get the idea, so that when you're finished, let me just show the finished product. You've got a lovely image. There's quite a bit of white in there, which sort of throws a lot of light. And on the inside, you'll see I've done the same with the rhino image and his little sleigh of presents. Very cute. The little duck, which is for our greeting panel. Here's our moose with the plum pudding and also the beaver. And you'll see how they all fit. So I'm going to stick these now together without colouring them, and I will finish colouring these later. We're actually making this card for our team day on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to showing my team how to create these cards. And as I said, you can use this this design or here. It doesn't have to be a Christmas card. I just developed it in the metric measurements for Christmas cards, but I'm definitely going to be using this design for other themed cards throughout the year. So there's my basic grey on the tartan foil, and I'm going to go ahead and stick all of these little panels onto the other side of the foil. So you've got the darker side, the side that is a little bit more solid, I guess. It does still throw a little bit of light because it's got that lovely foil pattern on it. And you'll notice, yeah, that it's quite festive. So it's great for Christmas cards, great for masculine cards too. So here are my panels. I'm just sticking these on one by one. And then I'm going to show you how to put them inside your card. There are the two at the top and the bottom, one at the top, one at the bottom, which are just stuck directly down onto the card base. So they're easy. So I'm going to just straighten that one a little bit. We've got a little bit of time before the Stampin' Seal will adhere permanently to peel it up again if you need to. All right, so here's our card, and on the inside, we are going to place our designs, our stamped panels, as they are going to appear in the card. You'll notice with my original one too, I've actually placed them slightly off center. So you've got these two, which are closer to the left-hand side of the card, and these two, which are closer to the right-hand side of the card. And I actually think that looks nicer. It also means you don't have to get them absolutely perfectly straight for it to look good. So these two are completely flat down in the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop some of this Stampin' Seal on the back. And that one just goes across to the left, as I said. So just try and center it between the top and bottom fairly evenly, but scoot it over to that left side. I'm going to do the bottom one as well. So the bottom one will, because it's the fourth one, it will scoot over to the right hand side. And again, I'm just going to leave equidistant around these three sides and my panel like that. So you can see that little fold line there, that's your guide. You've got a fold line there and there on that strip that goes behind. So now for these ones in the middle, what we're going to do is only put adhesive behind, just directly behind where these panels are going to be stuck down. And that will mean that the panels will not be stuck to the actual card base, only to the W strip that's in the middle. So there's our first one. I just eyeball this. I work out where my, where it's going to go, and I just apply it in that spot. So again, that one's over to the left. So what will happen is these panels should be free to move within the card as you're opening and closing. So that's what it looks like from the side. These two panels are stuck directly down, and these are stuck just on that single part of that strip that creates the W fold. For the outside, you're just going to adhere your giraffe panel to those layers and then adhere it to the front. So you'll end up with a card that looks like this. And I've just finished it off with a little bit of our metallic woven ribbon in the Parakeet Party, which is one of our in colours. And you'll see that's also a little bit festive. It sort of brings out the green in the card. I've added some metallic self-adhesive dots as well, just to fill in some white space, but also sort of coordinate with that lovely foil, metallic foil that's in the designer series paper. So I hope you have enjoyed watching me put that card together. Excuse me. I will put the measurements, as I said, I'll put the measurements down the bottom of this video, as well as all of the products that I used to create my festive and fun version of this panel card, so that you can recreate them at home. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget our retiring list is out, and you can pick up some great bargains for up to 60% off. There is also some new products in our clearance rack. So if you're looking for stocking fillers for your crafty friends and family, that's a great place to go. So you can shop and fill your cart at my shop, www.vanessawebb.stampinup.net 24/7. Don't forget to visit my blog, my Facebook page and my Instagram for more tips and tricks and ideas for your holiday crafting. Thank you for watching. Bye.